before we go into the part where we talk about connecting with people in a hybrid meeting, I would like to talk to you about one important topic. And this is the question, when is it not the right way to do a hybrid meeting? When is it better to go completely presential or completely online? And yes, there are some cases. Number one of those reasons obviously is if you have too many people in the room for the equipment which you have. If you want to do a meeting with 20 people in the room or even more, 30, 50 people, it is not going to work with an external microphone and camera and a second laptop. For these cases, you will need a really professional setup. You will need a technician, you will need a camera guy, and a whole room which is just designed to do this. Of course, this exists, but this is not probably your usual case of facilitating a hybrid meeting. So here I would suggest then really think consciously how many people does it make sense to have in your room. And as I suggested in a past video, usually with the tips that I gave you, it's up to 10, 12 people, something like this, where you can really have a good quality meeting. The second reason why you might not want to do the meeting in a hybrid way is a quite practical one. This is if you have a keynote speaker, or if you have a facilitator or a moderator or whatever, a person who has an important stake in your meeting, who has no experience with hybrid at all, then it can be, it's not a good idea to blame people, because it's a bit more complex to do a hybrid meeting or to facilitate it, because you need to look at the one camera, at the other camera, at the third part and something. It is something which takes some training. Of course, everybody can do it, but here I would really definitely recommend you do a dry run before, or do some internal meetings where you can just try it out and not just go into the meeting and important meeting and just say, okay, I'll do this, no problem at all. This is basically the second reason when I would at least hesitate and ask if it makes sense to go into it or test it before. And the third reason when not to do a hybrid meeting is if the content of your seminar, which you're doing, or the workshop meeting, does not fit to the technique which you have. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a team which is 1 year, has been in Corona, home office, and people haven't seen each other. And the workshop which you're doing is not about so much about rational thinking and brainstorming. It's rather about reconnecting, having fun, having conversations, and basically the coffee break is more important than the meeting itself. Then I would say that the hybrid meeting is not the best way to do it. Still, I would say go for the presential meeting if possible. Of course, it's better to work hybrid than completely online, but you still will probably not be able to do some acrobatic physical exercises in a hybrid way just as good and easy as you will do it in a physical meeting. So here you have to think very consciously. Is my meeting more about brainstorming and rational thinking? Then I would say no problem at all to do it in a hybrid way. Is it really more about the emotional part? Then you have to be aware that you need to adapt a lot of the exercises which you're doing and ask yourself, are you able to do this to be on the same quality level as it would be in a physical meeting? Those are the three main points of hesitating or not doing a hybrid meeting, in my opinion.